Another accident. One of the many accidents that happen to young bicycles on Britain's roads every year.
Sorry, could have stopped now. Commander, about look, you couldn't possibly see.
Oh, wait, said he come to a bad end, that one.
This bike began its life as any other. Why then should its life end in this way? What is it that makes one bicycle grow up as a healthy, useful member of the community, and the other an outcast, scrap iron in the gutter? Two bicycles, yet they grew up so differently. Why? Let's look back to the beginning, to the day they were sold. After all, it's an important moment in a bike's life when he meets his new master. Jimmy and his father have gone to a dealer who takes part in the National Cycling Proficiency Scheme. He's an expert who's there to advise and explain, and that's a good start for any young bicycle. But not every bike is as lucky as Jimmy's. Let's take Les. He went to the shop to buy a bicycle, and he went by himself. It was his money, and he was going to choose it. Who knows what made Les finally pick on the orange one? Maybe it was the color. Maybe he fancied himself on it. Maybe it made him feel bigger. Who knows? But perhaps this is our first clue. Jimmy and his father sought good advice when they chose their bicycle. And for the young bicycle, this meant he had a good owner he could trust to look after him properly. And Les, a pleasant enough chap, ready for a giggle. But perhaps that's why it ended as it did. This is how it ended for Les. And Jimmy? Let's go back to that first Monday at school after they bought their new bicycle.
Well done. Stop! The showers, run!
What's the hurry? Got a date with a new bicycle smasher. Me too. See, Jim, aren't you coming in? Where's that then? Cycling lessons. Not me, mate. School's over for the day.
Riding a bicycle is fun. It's good, healthy, easy to do. And in many ways, that's the trouble. It's too easy. Whose bike?
Mine.
May I? Now, a lot of boys, once they've learned how to balance on a bicycle, think that's all there is to it. Like going into a sweet shop. Packet of sweets, takes your fancy, you buy them, and they're yours to chew. Now, that's all a lot of boys think about their bicycles. They buy them because they take their fancy. They point it at the countryside, get on it, away they go. Sun shining, what more is there to know? There's a lot more to know. How to be comfortable, how to ride safely on a busy road, how not to waste energy. A bad riding position wastes energy. A good riding position saves energy, gives you more power. Your handlebars could be raised or lowered. Up on the bike. You don't want them too high, so that you sit up and beg all your weight back in your saddle. You don't want them too low, so your head's down, you can't see what's coming towards you. Back straight, alert, properly in control of your bike, instead of your bike being in control of you. Standing up on your pedals, pushing your weight around, that's clumsy and wasteful. Adjust your saddle so that this leg is straight at the lowest pedaling position. Now, foot down, and you can stand comfortably and not wobble about when you stop. Now, foot up again. Now, To cycle more like an expert, pedal with the soles of your feet and use your feet like hands and your ankles like wrists. When your foot is at the top of the stroke, keep the heel down and the toes up. Now push forwards as well as downwards. Keep up the movement of the ankles, straightening the foot as much as you can, and use your toes to pull the pedal round past the bottom of the stroke. Expert cyclists don't slam their pedals down one after the other. They use their strength and intelligence. They take hold of them with their feet and turn them around. Expert cyclists don't stagger and wobble. They learn to make use of muscles ordinary riders never use. And of course, the more muscles you use, the more powerful your pedaling becomes. You can go farther, and you can ride faster. You can also climb hills more easily. Lastly, get to know your bicycle. Get to know its tricks and how to look after it. And get yourself a small but efficient toolkit and learn how to use it. There'll always come a time that you're glad you learned how to mend a puncture.
No one can say growing up is easy for anyone, but for a bicycle it can be more difficult than for a human. He doesn't choose his master chooses him. And it's tough luck if his master's the kind who looks after himself and leaves his bike to get wet. But when the sun shines, all is forgotten and life looks brighter, even for a bicycle.
Gosh, look at that! What is it? I don't know, it's a radio of some sort. Oh, that's the stuff for me, mate. Real racing class stuff. Doing the tongue. Nutcase. What did you call me? A nutcase? How'd you ever have to drive a car when you can't even ride a bike properly yet? You watch me,
For a moment, Les and his bike may have been frightened. But there's something exciting about speed and a young master out to enjoy himself that makes a young bicycle forget the bad times. But, yes, there's always a but.
First things first. Now, I told you lot something about how to ride a bicycle and the way to get most out of the energy that you put into it. Now I want to tell you about riding a bike on the road. Remember, there are a lot of other people on the road. You're only one among many road users, so you've got to be good. That, after all, is why you're coming to these classes, because whatever you do in this world, if you want to do it well, you've got to learn how. This is something a lot of youngsters don't want to understand. You see, it's one thing to learn how to balance a bicycle and ride it in some lonely back street. It's quite another in a busy main road. That takes road sense, and you've got to learn it. I'm here to teach it. Now, you can see how we marked out the playground. We've marked out 3 intersecting roads, and the children are divided into 6 groups, one at each end of each road. Now, when I give the start, each group is going to move along its road to change places with the group at the other end. Now, there's plenty of room for each of them to move quickly and easily, but if any child touches another, both children have to sit down at once, wherever they are. Understand? Right. Now, you go and join. Go on. Ready? Go! Imagine what would have happened if there had been real cars going at speed. At Piccadilly Circus, 100 cars pass each other every minute, yet there are few, if any, collisions. Why? Because there are rules of the road and drivers have had to learn them. Today, when traffic moves faster, it is more important than ever to have rules to regulate it and control it, so that drivers and riders know when they can go ahead and when they must give way to others. When you're going to change direction or slow down or stop, you must think of the effect that your action may have on others sharing the road with you. you must let others know what you're going to do, particularly turning to the right. Look behind to find an opening, give a clear right-hand signal. When it's safe to do so, move to the middle of the road, keeping your right hand out all the time. When it's safe, do your turn. Remember to read signs. They're there to help you and save you from disaster. In all these maneuvers, you're trying to do what other people have a right to expect you to do. You're giving them as much warning as you can of what you intend to do. There's no place for the selfish or those who are too lazy to learn. Perhaps someone ought to show them what would happen if others on the road behaved as badly as they do.
Yes, there's a lot to be said for learning the rules of the road. In fact, if a bicycle could talk, it'd say,
And I think I used to reckon him a heck of a guy. Just goes to show. I know as much about people as he does about riding a bike. It's about time we both had a few lessons.
So for a short time, Les went to classes. But as Jimmy had started earlier, Jimmy went ahead. Les, being Les, fell behind.
We've just heard we're taking our test next week, our proficiency test. I'm good enough to take the test as good as you are anyway. Then let's see you do a proper right turn.
Then came the great day when Jimmy and his bicycle took the test, while Les and his bike looked on.
Between the boys or the girls, is there, really?
No, both about the same. Right, the following people have passed.
Put your hands up with your names, Paul, will you, please?
Christine Barker, Susan Jones, Roy Dorlin, Sheila Berry, George Hall, and Jimmy Atkinson.
Les! The other boys want you to come with us. We're going to the river for a swim. Just beyond the bypass, you know, to celebrate. We're taking the easy way to dodge all the traffic. Just because you passed your test, what makes you think you're a better rider than I am? Who said anything about that? You want me to come because otherwise you'd think I'd get lost. Well, I could get there before you could anyhow. You want to kick up the old back wheel, you do. I'm going whether you come or not. Oh, Sean.
Yeah? How?
Because I'll get to the river before 'em, that's how. That'll show 'em I'm a better rider than they are.
But you're not.
Who cares, so long as they think I am?
Even if you have to cheat, what'll that prove?
If you've got brains, you're as good as anyone, that's what. If you want to win, what's it matter how you do it, so long as you win? We'll take the shortcut across the bypass.
But that's heavy traffic and dangerous.
Now don't you start, we're off.
Maybe he can ride better than I thought. Oh, maybe not.
If we turn right and down the hill, we can still beat him.
Maybe we ought to go slower.
Got no time if we're going to beat him. Look, there's Liz. We're careful to turn.
Got no time.
Slow down.
Come on!
How's Liz?
He's all right, but his bike's had it.
Yet it wasn't the bicycle's fault that the accident happened. Les should have known. There's no shortcut to riding a bicycle. If you're going to take a bicycle onto the road, learn to ride it. Learn to ride it well, and look after it. Cycling should be fun, an adventure. Learn to enjoy it properly.